All right, here we are again. So I've come to a kind of resolution. I wrote 5 songs on using the guitar, well, to accompany. I kind of wrote the songs without an instrument, but then I used the guitar to play the chords, let's say, accompany myself. And then this song I'm working on right now is the second song that I'm using the piano. And I was going to finish another series of 5 and then choose kind of a favorite song to take through the whole process of multi-track recording. But I was just thinking about this song, and I think I'm gonna just take this song all the way through multi-track recording. I listened to that little recording I made on my phone of my practicing yesterday. I listened to that like 7 or 8 times. I think that's a really good new tool for me. I may or may not have said at some point in one of the early series how, as this goes along, I'm going to get better and better at doing it. I think I may have said this even yesterday, but I think that's going to be a really good tool to practice without practicing. Anyway, so we're in it for the long haul now. I would estimate it took me, I don't know, 18, 20 hours to do No More Love Songs. It's just a long process. I've done it many times because I also have a bunch of kind of just karaoke arrangements I guess I should put on the channel. I don't want to get sidetracked, but I'm saying I multi-track recorded those as well. I have that Hotel California, but my understanding is the Eagles hate it when you mess with their stuff or when you try to do a cover tune of one of their songs or whatever. They want to sue you. So I'm not sure what to do about that. Anyway, so step 1, I gotta lay down a track, but there's a bunch of stuff that needs to happen leading up to that. And the very first thing I want to do is count up how many measures of music I have. Because I'm going to lay down, I think, just a very basic bass track. Where's page 1? That's the chorus. Does it really have to be page 1? Here's the second verse. It's the same thing. So, I don't know what kind of introduction I would want to do. See, I got to figure that out too. Some kind of little introduction. So there's still some music to write before, if I said goodbye to you tonight, there would still be music left to write. Who can name that song? The Longest Time by Billy Joel. I just thought of that when I said there's still music to write. I gotta figure out some kind of introduction. Maybe that's the... You know, what I could do is just allocate 4 or 8 measures and then just start this after that. So it could, the introduction would want to end probably with a 4 and a 5 chord. Teachers replaced in this iteration by human resource departments. Exaggeration. Oh. Anyway, so count up the measures, and I'm going to take some blank, this is not blank, staff paper and just make a bunch of really small measures. And above each measure I'll write the chords. But kind of another little housekeeping issue that I need to deal with is I want gaps between these lines. So teachers replaced in this iteration. Right there's a potential place for a gap, but I gotta decide. By human resource departments. Of exaggeration. See, I've now heard it so many times without the gaps between lyrical phrases that I'm mentally having a hard time thinking of that, but I would like a gap. Maybe it'll be easier to parse up the first verse. So it'd be schools of prison, devoid of education. So something melodic like that, and then we begin to acclimate to freedom and deprivation. It's off my head there. This stuff of creativity in favor of indoctrination. Maybe like a 4-measure interlude between the two halves of the verses. So that was fairly easy to envision some chord changes and sort of some melody. That was sort of a duet between the bass and whatever. Something I really like. That's an element of Walking on Broken Glass. You hear that? That's my favorite song. Go check it out. Walking on Broken Glass by Annie Lennox. So great. Anyway, so I think that's what I'll do. That was fairly easy. And then maybe another interlude. Between the verses and the chorus. I don't know. Do I want to lead with the chorus is another question. You kind of have to commit. Because as soon as I lay down one track, I didn't explain that. So here's the chorus. It starts on this chord, or it's sort of on this chord. So the first track I would lay down would be, well, I won't sing. All I'll do is play the bass, but I'll sing to illustrate and show you where I am in the song. Tryptamania, attention deficit, oppositional defiance. These the pain. Sorry. These the pain of teachers. These are wellness. These are not illness. See what I'm saying? So, without the singing, I would lay that down. I might do it 8th notes. Easier to keep track of the rhythm that way. Tryptamania, attention deficit. See what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe not. But that's the first track I would lay down. But I have to count all the measures, and I have to follow my key that I will make of the freaking 100 or so measures I've got here. And just play that bass note, and then once that's done, I can maybe do a sort of a throwaway track of me singing it, just to make sure I know where I am in the song. I mean, the chords kind of give it away, but I want to as I'm writing everything else I'm going to write, I'm going to want a lead melody vocal track on there. Anyway, and then it all just follows from there. I'd like to come up with a much more creative bass line than that. I think it's really cool to have a bass line that jumps around and stuff. And then come up with other stuff, whatever other stuff. If you listen to No More Love Songs, pretty sure I came up with that bass line first. Oh, well, I guess another thing I'll do is just have a click track that's just a drum sound. I can't remember how to do the drums. I guess you can right there. So, how about 051? Well, maybe not. So say just that. Tryptamania, attention deficit. I don't know what tempo I want. This is 120, so 120 beats per minute. I don't know. But I want it quite a bit faster than how I've been practicing it. Alright, so this is just a lot of talking without very much music making. So, I'm going to go take a little break and then I'll come back and just make several pages of little tiny measures that there's just enough room to write the chord changes above. So, that'll be something. There's just a lot of legwork or busy work or whatever you want to call it when you go through this whole process of multi-track recording. So I'll show you all of that. I'm not exactly sure how to, I guess I'll just kind of hold up my iPad to the camera. This is all going to be pretty low tech. I'm not, I don't need to explain that I'm very seat of my pants. I'm not going to somehow install some ceiling camera so I can toggle between the two or have a split screen and you can see what I'm doing on my yeah, that's not going to happen today. So it's going to be very low tech. I hadn't thought about the logistics of all of that, but that's okay. I'll just do the best I can. If you seriously want to learn multi-track recording, you're going to want to download GarageBand and be kind of staring at your screen of your phone or whatever you're going to use. I'm going to be using my iPad because I think I want my cell phone to be free I want to keep making those little videos for myself so that as I'm driving around at work, I can listen and just become more and more familiar with this song, let's say. It's a very low-level way of talking about it. But I was thinking about this yesterday as I was driving around. I talked about how a song, when you first hear it, at least if you're me, most songs, is it half and half? I don't know. I don't care. Let's say half. Half of the songs I'm like, I don't think I really like that. The other half, for the most part, I am kind of neutral. If you take that half of that bunch of songs in the half that I don't hate, there might be 5 to 10% of them that I immediately like, but the other 90 to 95%, I just, oh, that's okay. But then I hear it again. And just, I don't know what percentage, but I just like it just a little bit more, right? Hear it a third time, and I'm acquiring that taste just a little bit more, to where after I've heard it the fifth or sixth time, if I'm gonna allow myself to hear it that many times, it begins to get into my ear and my heart and my mind and my soul, right? I've talked about this before. Back in the day, I was never a guy that would buy albums. I just listened to whatever came on the radio. But obviously I can change the channel, the radio station, if I don't like it. So I would never hear stuff very often. It's just up to these DJs or the powers that be in the music business back in the 80s that would decide what was going to be played. So I would hear it, and then it might not be a day or two or 12 before I hear it again. But I just over time would fall in love with these songs. So that's the idea. Making these little videos on my phone as I make the big videos for you is to create a situation where my own songs that I wrote can much more effectively enter my ear, my heart, my soul. Because so far, these six, this is the seventh song, I'm always eager. I already have 2 new song ideas since I started this series. I just am always getting song ideas. So I only get a couple, 3 videos in, and I'm already excited to get on to the next thing, the next song. So anyway, I get to that point where I am right now, where my job is to practice. Just gotta practice, and it's, it's not the easiest thing. So by the time I can barely play it well enough to present a version of it to you, I don't know, it's not great. So anyway, but that's one reason I'm really excited about these little videos I make for myself, and then just listen to them as I'm driving around, to really practice without practicing, really acquire the taste of my own music, really feed it into my ear to access my heart and soul, so that by the time I'm all finished with this whole process of multi-track recording, having listened to this song a lot as I'm driving around, because I'll make a video for the most part every day, I imagine. And then when it's at the very end, and all I'm going to do is sing the lead vocal, I'll probably do a video where I'm playing all of the entire multi-track recording that I've created. And to record that final track, I'll have my laptop on recording me doing it live. Anyway, so that'll be something. Alright. I'm going to take a break and come back and start doing this nuts and bolts stuff. Build a foundation for multi-track recording. Alright.